Hello, and welcome to the Nebraska Department of Transportation SmartForm training. In this training, we will be discussing the basics of how to use the SmartForm. Let's get started. When logging in, the SmartForm will immediately ask users for their username and password. This information will be provided in an email from NDOT to users when their account is activated. The username will be first name, last name, and the password will be randomly generated by NDOT. If a user has problems logging in, they should contact the NDOT Help Desk at 402-471-4567. Additionally, users should make sure that they're using Google Chrome as their browser. Using Internet Explorer or Firefox may cause some functions to not work properly. After logging in, users will be brought to the SmartForm homepage. A welcome message greets users with a brief description of CE assignment and the CE level structure. Before we get into completing projects, let's look at some of the other SmartForm features. Located at the top of the screen, in the black banner, users will find the NDOT logo in 5 tabs with additional user information. Clicking the NDOT logo within the banner will take users to the NDOT homepage, where they can find information about NDOT and their policies and procedures. Selecting the CE SmartForm tab will return users to the SmartForm homepage. If the user is working in a project, clicking this tab will display a warning message to save a project before exiting. The Guidance tab contains a drop-down with 4 links to help users complete CEs in the SmartForm. The first link in the list is the CE Assignment Memorandum of Understanding. This document was signed by FHWA and NDOT on September 5, 2018, and delegates CE approval responsibility to NDOT. The second link is the Nebraska Categorical Exclusion Guidance. While this training will provide an overview of working in the SmartForm, the CE Guidance provides a comprehensive guide to completing CEs in Nebraska and will be the source of further information for resource-specific topics. The SmartForm User Guide provides tips for working in the SmartForm, including Internet browser recommendations. We'll discuss these tips further in the training. The final link is to the NDOT Environmental Section webpage. This page provides links to additional resource topics such as wetlands, hazardous materials, and threatened and endangered species, trainings, and NDOT guidance documents. The Comments tab allows users to submit comments and concerns on the SmartForm. Clicking the tab will open the Comment Submittal page. Questions or comments can be submitted regarding whole resource tabs or can be pared down to the question level. The About tab contains information about the SmartForm and its version information. The final tab contains contact information for NDOT SmartForm support, the NDOT NEPA contact, and the NDOT Environmental Project Manager for each district. Now, let's look at completing a project. On the SmartForm homepage, users can access a project from a list of projects in the Select an Existing Project dropdown and selecting Open. The dropdown will only show those projects that a user has permissions to edit. If a user needs access to a project that is not listed, contact the designated NDOT NEPA specialist or the Environmental Project Manager in the Contact tab. Once within a project page, the project name, control number, and recommended CE level are displayed at the top. Resources are organized into 8 topic tabs, with various resource-specific subtabs within those. Topic tabs for resources reviewed in Nebraska CEs are as follows. Form administration. Project information. Right-of-way and property impacts. Water and ecological resources. Human and social resources. Other impacts. Indirect and cumulative. Mitigation. The subtabs within each topic tab contain a variety of yes-no questions, drop-downs, and fillable boxes for impact descriptions, dates, etc. that are specific to each resource topic. Depending on the type of question and the answer to that question, additional questions may appear, disappear, or answer themselves. The appearance of additional questions or text boxes means the SMART form needs more information to determine the level of impact, and thus the CE level. The SMART form's smartness stems from the programming logic that adapts to user input. It will automatically update and inform the user of the necessary CE level as each question is answered. Further information regarding CE levels and the SMART form logic can be found in the Nebraska CE Guidance or Environmental Procedures Manual. As users work through a project in the SMART form, they will notice blue question marks next to certain questions. These question marks link the user to the Nebraska CE Guidance, where further guidance on a particular topic or question can be found. Additionally, a notes text box is located at the bottom of each subtab where the user may add notes that document or clarify answers and information provided or not yet provided. The text in the notes box will not be visible in printed versions of the CE. As a user answers questions, previously hidden questions may appear indicating that additional analysis or information is needed. For example, a yes answer to 7.1 will open questions 7.2 through 7.7. A no to 7.2 will also automatically answer no for questions 7.3 and 7.4. Conversely, a change in response to a prompt question may hide previously visible questions. In this instance, any content entered in the previous visible question field will be permanently lost. In order to avoid the unintentional loss of important content, it is recommended that a user move the content to the associated notes text box prior to altering a prompt question. Additionally, a warning message will appear to remind the user of the deletion prior to performing the requested change. Many of the resource sections will contain an NDOT PQS determination date box or a concurrence date box where users can enter the approval date from various sources. Clicking on this text box will open a calendar drop-down. A date can be selected on the calendar or entered manually. Some subtabs within the SMART form will have drop-down boxes to select an answer from a list. Question 7.6 is one example of this, with a list of the most commonly used nationwide permits for transportation projects in Nebraska. Many of the SMART form subtabs will contain a discussion and mitigation block following the questions. For the wetlands section, this is blocks 7.9 and 7.10. Within these blocks, users can further describe impacts to resources and detail out the mitigation measures that will be put into place to reduce impacts or prevent them. Information and data entered into the SMART form will be lost if it is not saved prior to refreshing or exiting the Internet browser or exiting the SMART form. Information that has not been saved will not be depicted in printed versions of the CE. To prevent information loss, save all entered information in the SMART form early and often using one of two save options. The first save option is a Save All option located near the top right corner of the CE SMART form and denoted by the floppy disk. The Save All function will save information throughout the SMART form and is the preferred method of saving. When the Save All function is used, a green Success Saved box will appear on the bottom right side of the screen. The second save option is located near the bottom left of the SmartForm tabs and subtabs. This option will save only new information entered on that particular tab. It is recommended that information be saved prior to switching between resource tabs. If the CE SmartForm sits idle for a period of time, the save options may not function properly upon first attempt due to a timeout with the servers. In this instance, repeat the save attempt in order to re-establish the database connection and restore save functionality. When the user is ready to print a copy of the CE from the SmartForm, the printer icon in the upper right corner can be selected. Selecting this icon will prompt the SmartForm to print the CE to PDF, which can then be saved by the user. Now let's look at some tips for working in the SmartForm. Tip number 1. If a password is entered incorrectly more than 3 times, the SmartForm will lock the user out. If this happens, contact the NDOT help desk to unlock the account. Tip number 2. Text boxes in the SmartForm are adjustable. If text within the text box is longer than the existing box size, the text box will automatically adjust to fit the size. Additionally, each text box has a tab in the bottom right corner where the user can resize the box manually. Tip number 3. Be careful when inserting text from a PDF. The proper formatting may not transfer with the text. While it may look okay in the web application, it may print incorrectly. When entering PDF data, users should check a printed CE to ensure that formatting errors, such as line breaks within sentences, are fixed prior to NDOT submittal. Tip number 4. If a user accidentally deletes text within a text box, hit Ctrl-Z. This will bring the text back. Note that this only works on text boxes that remain visible. If the user closes a text box by changing the answer to a prompt question, Ctrl-Z won't bring the text back. Once the CE is complete within the SmartForm, users should print a PDF. Compile the complete CE package in accordance with NDOT CE guidance. That wraps up this training. If you have questions regarding specific resource topics in the SmartForm, please consult the Nebraska CE guidance or contact your project-specific NEPA specialist or environmental project manager. If you have questions on this or other NDOT environmental trainings, please contact the NDOT Environmental Training Manager listed on the NDOT Environmental Training and Certification webpage. Thank you for listening to this NDOT introductory training.